Hello everyone! Today we have an exciting lesson planned. I just want to introduce myself. I'm Naha and I'm so excited that we're going to be learning some Excel functions and we're going to build a basic income statement. So before we get started, just a small disclaimer. I am not a certified public accountant, which is often referred to as a CPA, so you might hear that a lot in the accounting field. So please consult a CPA if you're thinking about starting your own business and making your own income statements or cost-benefit analysis. So today we're going to have a few goals that I'm going to go over before we start looking at the Excel workbook and the worksheets. So we want to open, close, and save as our workbook. We want to navigate through a workbook and our worksheets. We want to insert, rename, and move worksheets. We want to enter and format text, dates, and numbers. We want to resize our cells, our columns and rows, wrap text in our cell, select cells and ranges, perform calculations with math formulas, perform calculations with functions, so that's sum, max, min, average, count, and count A. And we'll go over the difference between count and count A very soon. We want to copy and paste formulas. And this isn't as simple as it sounds. There's special paste functions that we also have to look at. We want to insert and delete rows, columns, and ranges. We want to add cell borders and change our font sizes. We want to use special formatting, and we want to prepare worksheets for printing. We want to save a workbook with a new name. Okay, so let's get started. So we're making our basic income statement. So we're going to start off with what we have is a company, because we're making tab statements for companies. So we're starting with Infinity Chemical. And this is our first tab, shows income statement template. So we're starting with our template. And at the end of this exercise, we're going to make our income statement template look like our income statement part 1. So let's just take a look at what this looks like. Part 1. So we notice some immediate differences. We have the quarter one column here. We go back to our template, we only have a quarter 4 column. So first difference. Next, we have descriptions on the right. So I'm going to highlight these so you can see them. And then if we scroll down, we also have this, what we call an expense analysis, and we'll talk about that in detail very soon. So we want to start by making our template look like our income statement, part 1. So first, we're just going to do a little bit of background about what each of these categories on the left means. So we have Q4 and we have Q1. So quarters. Q4 ends on December 31st, 2021, and Q1 starts on March 31st, 2022. So each of these highlighted cells in yellow, so I'm clicking through a couple of them so you can see, these are numbers that we're inputting, and each of these non-highlighted cells beneath the yellow, these are actually things that we're calculating with functions from our inputted values in yellow. So first we have gross sales, so how much we sold of an item. So in this case, we're the Infinity Chemical Company. So how many chemicals we sold? So people paid us $500,000. So this is less returns and values, so not all the chemicals, unfortunately not all our chemicals worked. Wrong mixtures, maybe we didn't heat it, maybe we left it outside and we didn't freeze it. It's very unfortunate. So people returned it and we have to give our money back. So unfortunately we only made $469,000, not our $500,000. But it's okay, because we still made something. So at the start of Q1, so December 31st, you can see that we ended our inventory, so less inventory ending. We ended our inventory with $100,000 worth of chemicals. So we had barrels of chemicals, and say our chemicals barrels cost $10,000 per barrel. So we had 10 barrels. So we start off our new quarter with 10 barrels, so $100,000. And then we go on and we purchase more chemicals because we want to sell more than $100,000 in inventory. But unfortunately, as with the things you buy, you have to pay delivery. But it's okay, because we're only paying $4,000 in delivery. So we end up with $184,000. So total merchandise handled. So that's just going to be the sum of these three cells. And we'll show you how to calculate sum very soon. And then we have the cost of our goods sold. So that's just going to be our total merchandise handled, our goods, minus the amount we have at the end. So beginning, so final minus beginning gives us our total cost. And then we get our gross profit. So that would be our net sales minus the cost of goods that we sold. And then we have our money that we earned in cash in the bank. So this is just interest, so $9. And here we have our total income. So that's our gross profit plus our interest. So $395,009. And then, as with most companies, you have expenses. So you have to hire people and you have to pay them because people don't like to work for free. And then you have to do something in a space. You have to do your chemical analysis and your mixing and your heating and your storing. It has to be in a room. And you have to pay electricity. You have to turn the lights on. Then you have to rent the space because it's not yours. So you have to pay the owner rent. Then you have to pay for office supplies, whether that's computers or printing. And then insurance, we can see we don't have an insurance cost here for Q1 just because we didn't get an insurance bill, but you can clearly see that we paid insurance in the last quarter. Advertising, whether that's on social media sites, commercials, and things like that. Websites, people have to be able to order our materials, so they do it on the website at $3,100. And then taxes and licenses and certifications. We have to make sure people are trained and they're allowed to perform the reactions and basic things that we want to make our chemicals. And then total expenses is just going to be the sum of each of these rows. It'll give us total expenses. Oops, I just hit cancel. I'm going to change that. Then our net income. So that would be our total income minus our total expenses. And then expense analysis. So this will be our average expenses from here. Oops, from here. And then this will be the count. So count meaning just the count of numbers. And count A meaning the count of all these. So you notice 7 and 8 are different because of our NA here. And then here, I'll have our minimum, so our lowest number of these, and we'll have our maximum number of these. Okay, so let's just get started. So first, we have our template, and we're going to start off by making a copy. So we're going to right click, and we're going to click Move or Copy, and we're going to click Create a Copy, and this is before sheet, so this is where do we want our next tab to be. So we're going to say move it to the end, so that's going to move it after income statement part 1. So click OK, and first we're going to double click, and we're going to rename, so we're just going to type My Income Statement. Okay, now that we have our My Income Statement named, we're going to start highlighting cells so that we know which cells that we're going to input numbers or text values in. So we're going to hit the Control button and start clicking our cells. So Control, and then we're going to click it and then put our scroll down so that we can highlight a range of cells. So we're doing the same thing, clicking and scrolling down, clicking, and then we're going to click and scroll down. And then we're going to start cell 38, and we're going to highlight 6 of these, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to click the next thing. We're going to go over to our ribbon, and we're going to click this down arrow. So we're going to fill our cells with color. So right now you see no fill, and we're going to fill them in yellow. Make things simple so that we can see them. There. And oh no, we highlighted something that we shouldn't have highlighted, so no worries. We're just going to go back over to the ribbon, click this down arrow, and click no fill. And just like that, it's not filled anymore. So now we're going to start typing in values. So we're going to start with Q1, enter, so you want to change anything in the cell, and we're going to type in March 31st, 2022, and we're going to start typing in values. So we're going to type in 500,000, 31,000, and then our inventory in the beginning, so that's 100,000. Going, 80,000, 4,000, and then we're ending 110,000. Then total interest 9. Okay, so then go back up, make sure you did this right. Okay. 100. Oops. But insurance. So we don't have insurance, but no insurance bill for this period. So type in NA. That's office supplies. Let's just fix that. Type in 100. Now we can type in NA. Oops, it happens. Don't worry about it. 9,300, 3,100, 8,700. Okay. Now we can go down and type in our expense analysis. Okay. Then we're going to type in average expense, and then account number of expense, in the parentheses we're writing count because that's the function we're going to use. And it's important in this one that it's not the same function. So you want to make sure it says count A. Two totally different functions, so keep that in mind. Minimum, maximum. When you're done typing, always hit enter, because when you have formulas and things, you don't want to type in these things. That'll screw up your entire sheet. And now this looks a little messy, so let's just do something to make it a little more aesthetically pleasing. So let's click the cell, the column, and right click, and we'll go up to the ribbon and we'll align it to the right. So everything looks okay. And we can see that we have all our values there. And we can go ahead and we can fix this date so it doesn't look like the date next to our column in Q4. So we can hit general, we can hit short date, keep going. Okay, so now that we've done this, we can start putting in formulas right after we put in our descriptions. So I'm going to copy and paste the descriptions, but for this assignment, you're going to type these in. So I'm going to call them to income statement part 1, and I'm going to right click and hit copy. Then we'll go to my income statement and go to F, right click and go to paste special. So this is important. You're not just going to hit paste, you're going to go down and hit paste values. Okay, so now that we have this, you can see it's going out to the other rows, and we don't want that. So first, we're going to right click on column F, and we're going to hit column width, and we're going to say we want our column width to be 20. And then we're going to wrap our text. So we're heading back over to the ribbon, and we're clicking wrap text. Ah, much better. Okay. So now for column C, we also want to fix our width here, right after we insert a column before C. So we're going to hit right click and we're going to insert a column. And here we have a very big column in between B and D. So let's just fix that. right click again, you'll see this screen pop up, and then column width, and we'll set it at 1.83 and hit enter or OK. I'll click OK right there, and then now for the fun part, we're going to start actually calculating formulas to see how our business is doing in Q1. So let's start with net sales. So I just click the box, hit the equals sign, and I'm going to take gross sales minus less returns and allowances. So I'm going to click the cell, the minus sign, and then hit the up arrow. So let's just check. D6 minus D7. Okay, it looks good. Let's click enter. And then I'm going to click the down arrow to get to our next spot where we have to start our calculations. I'm going to say equals, and here we want our total merchandise handled. So it's the sum of each of these three values, inventory, our purchases, and our delivery. So type in sum function, and then do an open parentheses. And then we're going to click the up arrow, go all the way up, and we're going to hold down the shift key and click the down arrow to get our whole range, and hit the close parentheses. So that gives us 184,000. Next, we're going to do the next cell that's not highlighted, costs of goods sold. So we're going to do equals, and then we're going to do our up arrow, go all the way up to total merchandise handled. So that's D14, hit the minus sign, and subtract D16, up arrow, which is our less inventory ending. And then we can go down, and we can get our total income, which is, oh, look at that. We have to go back to gross profit, make sure we don't skip things. So our gross profit would be our net sales. Let's just go up to our net sales. Doesn't look right. Okay. That should be fine. We're okay. And then hit the up arrow and subtract by the cost of our goods sold. Let's just double check our net sales again. Let's see, 5. Let's see. Oh, okay. We're off by 0. Ah, that's a much better net sales number. Ah, things are so much better. I'm feeling good already. Oh, and our gross profit it's positive. Okay. Ah, so much better. So, okay, we'll do our total income now. Okay, so now we're going to calculate our total income. So just equals, and we're going to take our gross profit plus our interest income, hit enter. And then we're going to scroll down with our mouse. We're going to go down to total expenses. So this is just going to be the sum of all of our expenses. So like we did earlier, we're going to type in sum, and then we're going to hit the up arrow all the way up to where our expenses start. Shift, hit the down arrow to get our whole range, and then close parentheses and hit enter. Now we're going to get our net income. How much money did the company make? So we want to hit equals, and we want to take our total income minus our total expenses. So the up arrow going up to total income, hit the minus sign, up arrow again, just so we get to total expenses, and hit enter. Okay, and we can say, okay, this looks pretty good. What if we want to just go back to the sheet in part 1 and double check some of our numbers to make sure everything's okay? So total income should be 219,409. Let's see. 219,409. That looks good. And then 175,600, 175,600, 395,009, 395,009, 395,000, 74,000. Okay, 395,000, 74,000, 184,000, and then 469,000. So let's see, 184,000, 74,000, 469,000. Perfect. Let's keep going. Let's go to our expense analysis. So first we're going to start with average expenses. So we're going to do an average function. The key here is, as you can see on the left, you have average expense, you use average function, count number, use a count function. then count A, use a count A function, and use a min and max function. So we type in average, and then hit the up arrow again, go up to your expenses, shift down arrow, keep going until you get to tax and licenses, hit the close parentheses, hit enter, and then here we want to hit our equals count, so we're typing in count, open parentheses, up arrow again, we're going to do the shift and hitting the down arrow to get our whole range, close parentheses, equals. So let's enter. Equals, and then we want to do our count A. Make sure you add the A at the end. And then do up, and then shift, and the down arrow, and then close your parentheses, enter. And then here we're just going to do equals min. Same thing, up and highlight our range, go shift and down, close parentheses, enter, equals max, and then we're going to do up, same again, and then we're going to do close parentheses, enter. So we have our expense analysis. And you'll also see that we have to do an expense analysis for quarter 4. So we're just going to be very simple about this, and we're going to highlight down, right click, copy. What we're doing is we're going to copy and we're going to paste these functions onto column B. So click it and we're going to hit paste. So you'll notice we did not paste values because we don't want to get the same values because we have different inputs. So we've copied our functions. So what we want to do now is we want to hit escape or ESC, and you'll see if that you click on this, it'll be the average but for this range. So same function, just different data input. So hit escape again, and we've done a my income statement, which means I have our basic income statement right over here. Okay, so now that we've done our income statement, I'm just going to scroll up and then I'm going to click cell A1, and keep in mind that after you save it, your Excel sheet, your Excel workbook is going to open up on this cell, so you're going to start from this cell. So I'm going to hit File, and then go to scroll down to Save As, and then here I'm just going to save mine in Downloads, call it Finances in Class. But for yours, you should save it in a spot where you can easily find it. And keep in mind that it doesn't look beautiful right now, but this is an assignment that's going to be done in multiple parts. So we are going to make it look beautiful by the end of this time. So don't worry about that. And then hit save. And I already have one, so I'm just going to hit replace. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I know that I left some of the bloopers and mistakes in the video and showed how I fixed them, but it can be hard to get things right on the first try because we're all human, so hopefully this was helpful. Thanks so much.